So this is where we are, sitting still, staring at a calendar that doesn't care, waiting on a maybe from a guy who turns 39 before the season even kicks off. Not even a no, just a maybe. A maybe that's somehow strong enough to paralyze an entire front office. A maybe that has the Miami Dolphins putting the brakes on everything they should be doing right now. All for Calais Campbell. It's not even about Campbell himself anymore, is it? He's done his part. Played hard, played smart, gave us more than most thought he still had in the tank. The guy is a legend, and we respect that. No arguments there. But is that really the center of the plan? Is Calais might come back the excuse for this standstill? Because that's what it feels like. A standstill. Meanwhile, there's $21 million just sitting there. Enough to make a move. More than enough. Especially considering the rookies won't cost more than 5 or 6 of that. And what are we doing with it? Nothing. Just watching. Just waiting. Just hoping the stars align for a 39-year-old to say, yeah, I'm in. That's not a strategy. That's desperation disguised as patience. This roster has holes. Big ones. Ones you can drive a truck through. And no, they're not all going to be magically solved in the draft. Not this one. Not with 2 picks in the top 60. Not when our recent draft record is more miss than hit. Let's not pretend we've been nailing the draft. Let's not pretend this front office hasn't whiffed. Because it has. Multiple times. Cornerback? Shaky. Defensive tackle. A black hole. Defensive end. We've got Zach Sealer holding it down like he always does. But after that? Benito Jones? That's the plan. That's the dream. One solid guy and a wish. That's where we are. That's what we're leaning on while waiting for Campbell to make up his mind. And on the offensive side? Sure, we've got stars. But we've also got Liam Eichenberg threatening to start. Again, if that doesn't set off alarms, nothing will. We can't pretend we're deep across the board. We're not. There are cracks everywhere. And they're not small. But back to the big picture, or lack of one. Because if this were happening up in New England or Buffalo, we'd be laughing. We'd be mocking them for pinning their offseason on a guy almost 40. We'd be tweeting the memes. We'd be tagging the receipts. But when it's our turn, silence. Shrugs. Somehow, when it's Miami, this insanity becomes routine. We normalize what should never be normal. And that's how you get 25 years with no playoff wins. You accept mediocrity dressed up as caution. You convince yourself that standing still is part of the plan. That waiting for a maybe is leadership. That doing nothing is somehow smart. It's not. What's even more mind-bending is the fact that Mike McDaniel acknowledged it. He flat out said Campbell's deciding whether he wants to play and where he can win a ring. And what? We're just supposed to sit around and hope he picks us. Hope we look appealing enough. Hope he thinks this roster is championship material. Let's be honest, is it? Let's say Campbell does come back. Let's say he gives us another year. He's not an every-down player. He can't be. Not anymore. So what then? Is that it? Is that the fix? One part-time vet plus hope equals Super Bowl. That's the blueprint. Because that's not a winning formula. That's a last-ditch gamble. Here's the brutal part. If you want Campbell back, then show it. Act like a team that wants to win. Add talent. Now, while you still can. There are still free agents out there who can contribute. Not superstars, maybe not even starters, but real, rotational pieces. Guys like Linval Joseph, John Jenkins, Zadarius Smith. Veterans who've seen it all and can still give you something on Sundays. But instead, we're paralyzed. Frozen by indecision. By the hope of a return that might not happen. That's not loyalty. That's not respect. That's foolishness. Because if Campbell walks or retires, we're right back at square one. Only now we're desperate. Now those free agents know we're scrambling. Now they've got leverage. And if there's one thing you don't want when filling holes in late April or May, it's giving leverage to guys who've been sitting by the phone. But that's the direction we're heading. Fast. It's almost like this front office forgot how football works. Like they think this roster's good enough to wait. Like they're convinced a couple of rookies will come in and light up the league. Rookies on the defensive line. Rookies who'll somehow skip the whole learning curve and become game changers right away. How often does that happen? When's the last time it happened here? Exactly. So what's the move? It should be obvious. Build now. Act now. Stop sitting on your hands. Assume Campbell isn't coming back. Assume nothing. And build a defense that looks like it belongs in January, not one that's barely holding up in September. If Campbell does decide to return, great. Bonus. A luxury, not a necessity. That's how you operate.